51 Guy who burns body. Extras for Guy. Indra is still quite impressive. In the original book, Guy is the only character who has kicked half of Six Paths Madara's body, and is called the strongest by Ban, in terms of physical skills. When Indra didn't travel to the world of Hokage, Indra also felt pity for Guy. Maybe, if he hadn't broken the bone in his back leg, Guy might really be able to kill Six Paths Madara. Today's situation is different. He is not a bystander, but a person facing him. He will not feel sorry for Guy, because now he is the enemy. Let me, Indra, come and experience the so-called 8 inner gates, Indra said in a deep voice, and then the Six Paths tin rod in his hand disappeared. At this moment, Guy's speed is surprisingly fast, and he has come to Indra in the blink of an eye. With his hands on the ground, his feet were rotated, and his whole body was bubbling with green gas. What? The sudden kick was directed towards Indra's abdomen, but Indra reached out to block it at that moment. When the foot collided with the hand, there was a slamming sound, and an air current spread rapidly, shattering dozens of surrounding rocks. Guy witnessed this scene, and a few drops of sweat appeared on his cheeks. Sure enough, this guy is really a perfect person. Even though my speed has been increased so many times, it still has no effect on him. Not only does he have a huge chakra, but his physical skills are also perfect. It is not too much to call such a man a god. Just as Guy was thinking of this second, in his ear, suddenly came Indra's voice. You don't have to use all your strength. Are you looking down on me, Indra? Indra said in a deep voice, then jumped up and disappeared in front of Guy with a bang. Guy looked at the sky subconsciously, and at this moment, Indra fell from the sky, and his feet rubbed against the air, creating flames. The speed was so fast that Guy didn't have time to react. Kakashi saw it on the side, reacted quickly, and teleported Guy away. When Kakashi finished using Kamui, the blood in his Mangekyo Sharingan's eyes overflowed again, and then he closed it. It was impossible for him to use Sharingan in a short period of time. Indra fell from the sky, and then only a loud bang was heard, and rocky debris mixed with smoke and dust flew around, and everything around was shrouded in smoke. Kakashi stretched out his hand to block the oncoming airflow, unable to look directly in front of him. Smoke center. Indra patted the dust on his body. His face was not very good looking. He sighed, and then said, "It's empty." "Forget it, let him be lucky." "But, Kakashi, you are not so lucky." "All right." Saying that, Indra turned around, facing Kakashi's direction, and took a step. A clear sound. Indra rubbed against the air, and flames erupted from his whole body. Kakashi just felt that something was wrong. Unexpectedly, when he blinked again, his eyes were black, and Indra was knocked away. At the moment of the collision, Kakashi spit out a mouthful of blood, and was ejected like a bullet. Kakashi kept rubbing against the ground. When he hit something, he instantly flew up, rolled dozens of times, and then fell to the ground again and continued to rub until he hit a rock for a moment, and finally stopped. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The rocky debris kept falling to the ground. He went deep into the rock and was nailed into the rock. PFFT. He spit out a mouthful of blood again, and basically all the bones on his body were broken. Indra looked in Kakashi's direction and said solemnly, "I call this move the power of a truck." Originally, Indra would not have thought of the word truck, but when he saw Kakashi flying upside down, he couldn't help but remember that in the original world, there was a scene where a person was hit by a truck. The situation was the same as when Kakashi flew upside down. Guy witnessed this situation on the other side, and could not help but feel moved towards 553 Kakashi. Kakashi. Guy stepped forward, gritted his teeth. "Don't worry, I just can't move, I feel like I can't die." Kakashi sneered, then coughed violently. Guy frowned and clenched his fists. And at this moment, Harunosura also rushed over, with a very ugly expression, and said, "Kakashi teacher, don't talk, I will treat it right away." Guy felt that his body was extremely heavy at this moment. He slowly turned around and looked in the direction of Indra. "8 gate, fully open," Guy said in a deep voice. The whole person has changed. His body is surrounded by red flames, and the unique technique of burning his body. At this time, his combat power has reached 100 times of normal. In the original book, the speed of Six Paths Madara completely exploded at the expense of burning his body, and it will not die if stopped for a short time. Guy's status. 52 Guy's ultimate move. Night. Guy's extra story had clenched the fist in his hand and waved it hard in the direction of Indra, and then an invisible force directly impacted away, and the layers of dust and mist were instantly penetrated, like a tunnel leading to Indra. Cool. This force rushed directly towards Indra, and Indra reacted instantly, dodging the blow. Sure enough, the speed is no longer comparable, Indra muttered. The next moment, an invisible force once again penetrated the dust and mist, attacking from behind, in front, and from the side. Indra was startled. The truth-seeking ball behind him suddenly turned into a big sphere and wrapped himself in it. Then the sound of air hitting the truth-seeking ball was heard. When the sound stopped, the truth-seeking ball changed back to a sphere again, and at this moment Might Guy ran directly over, very fast, and came to Indra in the blink of an eye. 1 foot. Might Guy raised his legs and kicked towards Indra's abdomen. Indra quickly reached out to block it, and with a broken body, Indra rubbed directly to the side. Ah, the strength is okay. Indra couldn't help sneering at Might Guy. Martial arts. Might Guy spun another kick, kicking directly to the abdomen, and at this moment Indra's hand hadn't let go, and he took another blow. Immediately, his speed toward the side increased again. Finally let me feel a little bit of pain, Tilda, Indra said solemnly. Sufficiency. Might Guy quickly followed. Another spin, kicking a leg straight into Indra's stomach again. Snapped. A crisp voice sounded again. Indra hit the rock directly, and this blow Might Guy kicked Indra's foot bone a little bit. Clap clap. The debris of the rock fell continuously to the ground. Might Guy frowned. The pain from the broken bones went directly to his brain nerves, and he couldn't help shaking his whole body, but he didn't give Indra a chance to breathe because of his own pain. Instead, he ran wildly, waving his leg with broken bones in the direction of the rock, kicking hard. Furious. With a bang, the entire rock was directly kicked by Might Guy, and in the smoke, Indra was blasted out and flew into the sky. Might Guy walked in the air to catch up, and the speed was very fast, and in the blink of an eye, he had already surpassed Indra and came to him. Ninjutsu snapped. With another savage kick, Indra instantly fell to the ground, and the strong impact caused the surrounding ground rocks to be impacted. Might Guy draw. After kicking these 5 feet, he fell to the ground, supported a rock next to him, looked at the center of the smoke, and gasped heavily. It worked. Did it? He muttered. Indra lay in the big hole in the center, with hot steam emitting from her whole body, looking at the sky shrouded in smoke. She pondered for a while and said, "Is it over? I don't seem to feel anything at all." Saying that, he stood up slowly, patted the dust on his body, and said, "If I guessed correctly, those moves just now were the 8th gate Xixiang of 8 inner gates formation." "What? It looks like it's nothing more than that." Indra smiled deeply, then slowly floated up, floated out of the big pit, and then fell to the ground, looked at Might Guy. Might Guy was stunned when he saw Indra, and then said in a deep voice, "As expected, even Xixiang has no effect on him." Indra smiled coldly and said, "Don't be depressed, Xixiang is still effective, but your injury is not as fast as my healing ability." "Healing ability?" Might Guy was startled. "To tell you the truth, physical art can't beat me at all. I can basically say that I have an immortal body." "Of course, you are also thinking that sealing art can seal me, because that is also impossible. All in all, I can basically describe myself as invincible. Even the mother of chakra in this world, Otsutsuki Kaguya, has the same immortality as me, but she still has a weakness, that is, she is afraid of being sealed." "Is there one last move left?" Might Guy muttered softly, looking at Indra. "The last move that Might Guy, Li Zhao, said is undoubtedly his ultimate move, Night Guy, but once he uses that move, he will undoubtedly die." "Guy, I believe you already know the current situation. Although I am not a saint, but I will not kill innocent people. I will give you a chance to stand on my side," Indra said calmly. "Ah, thank you for your kindness, but I'm a person who would rather die than give up," Might Guy said solemnly, clenching his hands. At this moment he has decided to sacrifice his life in exchange for the last glimmer of hope. 53 Victory. Spoiler, of course, it wasn't that he didn't think about the consequences if he failed, and the consequence was that he was still standing when he burned his life. "What should be said, I have already said it. If you don't listen to the persuasion, I can only kill you," Indra said in a deep voice. Might Guy frowned and said, "I will do everything in my power to defeat you at the cost of my life." "Defeat? I didn't say. You may not be qualified to come," Indra said calmly. Might Guy didn't speak anymore. He pressed his whole body down, and said, "Accumulate." As soon as the voice fell, the red flames on his whole body became even larger, and with him as the center, a powerful airflow spread toward the surroundings. Indra's hair also dances with the air. "Look at your battle. Is it the last move?" Indra looked at Might Guy and muttered, and then in his hand, 6 paths tin 557 appeared again. In the face of Guy's last move, Indra has to be careful. After all, in the original book, Guy kicked half of 6 paths Madara's body with Night Guy, so the natural power cannot be underestimated. As the airflow became bigger and bigger, Might Guy's body changed again, and his body appeared like lava-colored lines, and chakra was very large. "It's a trick that can smash half of the 6 paths Madara's body, and I can't help but boil when I see this." Indra danced the 6 paths tin stick and pointed at Might Guy. "Drink." Might Guy spit out a mouthful of hot steam, then stepped run, very fast. When he ran, the red flame he emitted instantly turned into the red dragon. The dragon opened his mouth and roared towards Indra. Indra's face changed, and he wanted to attack with a 6 paths tin rod, but at this moment, the 6 paths tin rod was crooked. The speed is so fast, it's not the last big move, since the speed is twisting time and space. Indra was startled. He knew that if he received this blow, although he said he wouldn't die, he would definitely be injured more or less. "Do you think there is a trick?" Indra shouted. Her pupils froze, and the 6th Omo of Rinnegan's 6-hook jade suddenly changed to yellow, and then this body glowed with yellow light. This kind of ability is his upgraded Sharingan ability. Using this trick, no doubt even the sealing technique can't be effective, directly ignoring any ability. Before reaching this era, Senju Hashirama obtained the enhancement of Sage of Six Paths, and finally used a sealing technique to seal Indra. At that time, Indra also used this ability, directly ignoring his sealing technique. Now Indra is used again, but the purpose is not the same, not to ignore the seal, but to ignore Might Guy's ultimate move. Night Guy. Might Guy jumped, and then from the sky, shouted at Indra, "Night Guy!" As soon as the voice fell, a loud noise was heard, and the earth shook, and the thick smoke and dust roared directly to the earth along with the airflow, and the surrounding battlefield fell into the dust mist. It was because of this that everyone on the battlefield looked towards this side. What happened over there? Damn it, it's not something we can intervene at all. The battle over there is of Kakashi-sensei. Uzumaki Naruto looked at Indra's direction with his avatar. You better take care of yourself first. Sasuke drove the Suzu down from the sky and directly pressed Uzumaki Naruto's Ninetales mode to the ground. Uzumaki Naruto frowned and said to Uchiha Sasuke, "Sasuke, if you're still so obsessed, I won't wait to fight you. The hatred will stop everywhere. Let him vent on me, and then, I will die with you with this hatred." Obito, don't be distracted by the things around you, and act according to my will. Black Zetsu attached to Uchiha Obito's right and said in a deep voice, "I said, is what he said true?" Uchiha Obito asked rhetorically. "I was created by Madara, I am Ban's will. You say what he said is true or false?" Black Zetsu said. Uchiha Obito pondered for a while, but acted according to Black Zetsu's words. In the center of the smoke, Indra blinked, a trace of blood running from the corner of her mouth. Twisting time and space, since it caused me a little damage. "Ah, but I haven't even attacked, you have already lost." Saying that, Indra turned around and looked at Might Guy who was lying in the pit at the moment, and couldn't help sneering. At this moment, Might Guy's whole body was almost burnt, his eyes were lying on the ground, but the magma-colored stripes on his body were not disappearing. 54 Six Paths vs 6 Paths Extra Story. Indra clearly felt that the chakra of his acupoints was slowly disappearing. Indra looked at him, blinked his eyes and said, "A bloodless person who can reach this level is already above 10,000 people. Maybe your persistence is right. It's this world that's wrong. It's this era. Indra has decided to bury you." Indra said, and then slapped the ground with one hand, booming, and around Might Guy, the rock rose instantly, burying Might Guy between the dirt. "Almost, it's time to write a sentence for this era. The era of Indra is about to rise again," Indra said in a deep voice. At this moment, the earth suddenly shook, and a stream of air rushed towards Indra. Indra froze for a moment, then hurriedly looked at the place where the airflow came out. When Indra saw that scene, he was slightly surprised, because at this moment Uchiha Obito has become the Jinchuriki, Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. What's going on? Indra was startled, then moved towards the place where he had just controlled Black Zetsu. Sure enough, Black Zetsu was gone. Sure enough, Black Zetsu's ghost. Indra floated in the air and flew in the direction of Uchiha Obito. When Uchiha Obito knocked the 6 Paths tin stick in his hand on the ground, and said with a smile on his face, "With such a powerful force, is this the power of 6 Paths?" "Yes." "Next, take advantage of the opportunity now and quickly absorb the sacred tree," Black Zetsu said in a deep voice. Uchiha Obito smiled and said, "There's no chance, he's here." Just as Uchiha Obito's voice fell, with a bang, Indra fell from the sky and landed in front of Uchiha Obito and Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu smiled coldly and said, "Indra, I didn't expect you to be one step late." "Late? Why do I think I'm here for business?" Indra said disdainfully, her face expressionless. "You have the power of 6 Paths, and Obito now has the power of 6 Paths, which is enough to match you." Black Zetsu did not forget to sneer. Indra frowned, blinked and asked Uchiha Obito, "You are a descendant of Indra. Are you sure you want to be my enemy?" "This world is over, and whoever wants to stop me, I will step over his body. I don't care who I am against, even you." Uchiha Obito sneered. "It's you who is helpless." "You say this, and you have to be responsible for what you said," Indra said in a deep voice, and ran with the 6 Paths tin stick in her hand. Black Zetsu hurriedly evacuated, but Uchiha Obito was startled and said, "So fast." Saying that, he hurriedly waved the 6 Paths tin stick in his hand, trying to block it. Bang! A sound. Indra's 6 Paths tin rod collided with Uchiha Obito's 6 Paths tin rod, causing a strong current of air. The ground on which Uchiha Obito was standing collapsed instantly, and the whole person slowly sank. "Good strength." Uchiha Obito frowned. Click, click. After the weapons collided for a moment, Uchiha Obito's 6 Paths tin rod was broken in the middle, and he frowned. When the 6 Paths tin stick shattered directly, and Indra's 6 Paths tin stick slammed down, and with a bang, Uchiha Obito smashed a big hole on the ground. Indra wasn't going to give him a chance. After all, he didn't like trouble. Zero. Ask for flowers. Immediately, he raised the 6 Paths tin rod high, and then a black energy ball appeared out of thin air. The energy ball became bigger and bigger, and even with its size, it blocked the red light of the moon, causing the earth to fall into darkness. Drink. With a wave of Indra, the black energy ball smashed directly towards Uchiha Obito's pit. With the energy ball, a deafening explosion sounded in an instant, and the earth shook with it, and the smoke filled the entire battlefield. Screaming and mourning continued. 0. Sure enough, you are still hiding, Obito, Indra said in a deep voice, and then smiled coldly. Tap tap. Uchiha Obito stood in the center of the big pit and said in a deep voice, if I hadn't mastered space-time ninjutsu, would I really be unable to dodge the blow you just hit? Then you really appreciate your Mangekyo Sharingan. Indra sneered. Uchiha Obito flew up for life. A truth-seeking ball flew in front of him, and then pulled it. Turned into a weapon again. Boom. The two six paths tin sticks collided again. The next moment, Indra and Uchiha Obito almost did the same action. With their empty hands, a large black energy ball appeared, shooting towards each other in the direction of their heads. What? Kamui. Just at the moment, Uchiha Obito sucked the energy ball away in an instant, and his ability ball went through Indra's head. Uchiha Obito was stunned for a moment, and said, this. What happened? 55 Absorption of the Divine Tree Plan. Extra article. Countless ideas flashed through Uchiha Obito's mind. Could it be that his eyes are the same as mine, possessing space-time ninjutsu? That's the only thing Uchiha Obito can think of, because after all, he has space-time ninjutsu in Mangekyo himself. When using space-time ninjutsu, he can teleport a certain part of his body to another dimension, and when he wants to come back, he teleports that part of his body back. If this idea of Uchiha Obito was known to Indra at this moment, Indra would definitely laugh without saying a word. After all, he did not use the space-time ninjutsu that Uchiha Obito said. Acquired 6560 Dao power. Obito, your ability has indeed improved a lot, Indra said. Uchiha Obito smiled and said, I learned it. After hearing this, the corners of Indra's mouth raised slightly, and a powerful chakra was released from the inside of the body, forming an air current. Next, get ready, Obito, Indra ordered. Uchiha Obito was stunned, realizing that something was wrong, and hurriedly looked at Indra with both eyes, and said, Kamui. He wanted to try to absorb Indra into the space so that he could move more easily, but when he said Kamui, he was so stunned that he couldn't absorb Indra into it. Try not to use your Mangekyo Sharingan against my Rinnegan, so you'll only be insulting yourself, you say. Indra stared at Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito froze for a moment, sweat dripping from his face. At this moment, he felt a deep sense of oppression. Why? According to what a guy from Black Zetsu said, I also have the power of 6 paths, and he also has the power of 6 paths. The difference in strength should not be big, but why can I feel such a powerful force from him? Of pressure. Could it be because he owns a pair of Rinnegans? Uchiha Obito's brain was spinning at high speed. For the sake of completeness, Uchiha Obito decided he wanted to keep a safe distance from Indra. Then he jumped back, did some somersaults, and finally landed on the ground. Before he could stand still, a stream of air rushed towards him. Okay. As soon as the words fell, Indra kicked over. Uchiha Obito hurriedly defended, stretched out his hand, and blocked Indra's feet. Crack sound. When Indra's foot collided with Uchiha Obito's hand suddenly crooked, and the rock he was standing on suddenly shattered, and he fell into the ground slightly. Good wait. This is Uchiha Obito's first reaction. Indra turned and kicked again, and the truth-seeking ball behind Uchiha Obito quickly turned into a large sphere, wrapping Uchiha Obito inside. Boom. Indra kicked over, slammed, and the truth-seeking ball suddenly shattered, and even the ball was kicked into the air, constantly rubbing against the ground, and finally crashed into the depths of the rock, and was able to stop. Cough cough. Uchiha Obito hurriedly climbed out of the rock, and he was very puzzled at this moment. He suspected that he had absorbed a fake taxi tail. Cool. Before Uchiha Obito could take his breath away, Indra came directly to him again. Since his hand had just been kicked, he had not recovered at this moment, so he could only kick Indra 0 with his foot. But unexpectedly, he was dodged by Indra, punching directly into Uchiha Obito's abdomen. Boom. Uchiha Obito directly penetrated the entire thick rock. It didn't stop. It was still flying backwards, hitting the rock continuously, and the rock was continuously penetrated by him. It is conceivable that the power of this punch is powerful. How old are you? Where Uchiha Obito flew upside down, thick smoke and dust splashed. La la. Uchiha Obito stood up with difficulty, feeling a sweetness in his throat, and spit out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, he seemed a little helpless. Although I have already obtained the power of the 6 paths, I really have no power to fight back. This is really ironic, Uchiha Obito muttered. At this moment, Black Zetsu emerged from the ground and said to Uchiha Obito, I was surprised too. I didn't expect him to have such strength. Are you here to laugh at me? Uchiha Obito asked. Black Zetsu shook his head and said, no, I just feel the meaning of 4.2. I have another way to increase your strength, that is to absorb the divine tree. Absorb the divine tree? Uchiha Obito said in surprise. Black Zetsu nodded and said, yes, absorbing 10 tails, and absorbing the divine tree, your strength will be greatly improved, but now you may be a little difficult. After all, Indra will not let you go. Uchiha Obito pondered for a while, then said, I see. 56 Strip-tailed beast, extras, Obito, dissatisfied with you. Do you know what is the most important thing in Project Tsukinomi? Black Zetsu asked in a deep voice. Uchiha Obito glanced impatiently at Black Zetsu, then said, "What the hell are you trying to say?" Black Zetsu smiled and said, "No, I just wanted to tell you that Project Tsukinomi is also very important in addition to capturing 9 tails." Uchiha Obito blinked, then sneered, "You don't mean to tell me that in addition to catching 9 tails, you also need to absorb the divine tree?" "That's right," Black Zetsu said gently. "Why do you know this?" "I didn't even hear Ben say it," Uchiha Obito asked suspiciously. Black Zetsu was stunned and said slowly, "Madara already knew about it, but she just didn't tell you." "Actually Uchiha Madara didn't know about it," Black Zetsu said. "He knew. It was purely to deceive Uchiha Obito." "That guy is here again." A truth-seeking ball flew out from behind Uchiha Obito, and with a swipe, it stretched into a long black stick. Uchiha Obito grabbed it in his hands. Black Zetsu frowned, slowly dived into the ground, and said, "I have to go. That boy Indra is very hostile to me. If he is caught, he will be inserted into the body by the black stick again. But Obito, you don't worry, I will secretly give you a chance." After all, Black Zetsu has completely dived into the ground. Uchiha Obito immediately cast his gaze forward, clenched the black stick in his hand, and his eyes kept rolling. "This way, here it is." Uchiha Obito turned around and jumped back quickly. Several black sticks were inserted directly where Uchiha Obito was standing. Uchiha Obito followed with a quick jump, passed through the layers of smoke, and struck directly with the black stick in his hand. Snapped. A stream of air quickly dissipated, and at this moment, Uchiha Obito's black stick was directly caught in Indra's hand. "Don't you understand?" Indra said in a deep voice. Uchiha Obito ignored Indra, raised his other hand, and in the blink of an eye, an oversized black energy ball was condensed, and he threw it directly towards Indra. Indra's whole body glowed purple, and he stretched out his hand without hesitation, and the black energy ball approached Indra's hand step by step. In an instant, the black power ball slowly shrank, and then disappeared. Uchiha Obito was stunned for a moment, then said solemnly, "What? I actually absorbed it." "Give you a big one," Indra said gently. Uchiha Obito realized that something was wrong, quickly released the weapon in his hand, and hurriedly jumped back. Indra didn't panic. As soon as his pupils opened, a white Uzumaki appeared in front of him, and he flew in. Behind Uchiha Obito, Uzumaki appeared out of thin air again, and a black energy ball flew out. Uchiha Obito noticed it instantly, and the moment he turned his head, he hurriedly shouted, "Kamui!" But just as he was about to enter the space where he was, Indra suddenly appeared and kicked him backwards. He directly hit the black energy ball, and the black energy ball pushed him forward again. Uchiha Obito couldn't move for a while, and frowned. Indra put her hands together and said, "Blast!" As soon as the voice fell, there was a rumbling sound, and all the surrounding rocks were bounced off, and a powerful airflow swept the earth. There was a huge crater in the ground. Indra landed slowly, her eyes looking straight ahead. Uchiha Obito was lying in the deep pit, with mangekyous sharing and closed. The bright red blood was slowly flowing out. At this moment, his body was covered with scars. He opened Rinnegan and then staggered up. Damn it! He clenched the fist in his hand, and his heart was full of unwillingness. Before he could react, Indra suddenly appeared in his midair, and pressed his foot directly towards his head. With a bang, it hit the ground heavily, spitting out a mouthful of fresh 560 blood. After falling down, Uchiha Obito still didn't give up and wanted to stand up again. At this moment, Indra's hand emitted a purple light and penetrated directly into his abdomen. Uchiha Obito frowned. "I've already given you a chance, but if you don't cherish it, then don't blame me for not giving Uchiha some face," Indra said in a deep voice. Immediately, he pulled his hand and jumped back, and a white thing on his hand was also pulled out. Something strange started to happen to Uchiha Obito. The skin on his face fell to the ground, and soon, he quickly returned to his original appearance. And that white thing instantly turned into 9-tailed beasts and appeared in front of everyone. "Finally out." "Yes, saved." "Who is it?" "It's me," Indra said solemnly. 57 The old man's son, extras. The 9-tailed beasts turned around at almost the same time, and when they saw Indra, they were all stunned. This guy seems familiar," One-Tail Moritaru said gently. "You say that, I feel like a person." 3 Tails continued. "Like who?" "How can I not remember?" 4 Tails son Wu Sky's path. "Is it like the old man's son?" 6 Tails Seiken said. Hee, what does it look like?" "This guy is the old man's son." 9 Tails sat, crossed his hands on his chest, and said slowly. The remaining 7 Tails were stunned and said, "I just said that looking at this face so familiar, it turned out to be the old man's son." "How did he come back to life?" "Yes, he has been resurrected." "Do you think the old man will also be resurrected?" "It's really not sure. Maybe Ashura is also resurrected." "These juniors are quite capable." Kurama frowned, and then said in a deep voice, "Bastard, I said." "Now the problem is not to discuss this. This guy is our enemy. Enemies?" The remaining 7 Tails look at Indra. Indra blinked, then said, as Kurama said, "Now I am your enemy." "Oh no, I was wrong. I never fought you and have always been an enemy. Stop talking nonsense, Kurama uttered a deep voice, and then opened the most tailed beast bomb appeared out of thin air. Indra smiled coldly and said, I have a way to pull you out, and I have a way to obey you. Saying that, Indra's Rinnegan opened, and the A's of the 9-tailed beasts turned into Rinnegan. The tailed beast bomb on Kurama's mouth also disappeared. Obviously, the 9-tailed beasts have all fallen into Indra's illusion at this moment. I said, don't try to find your way on the frontier of death. Indra muttered and folded her hands. Planetary devastation. Ugh! The 9-tailed beasts suddenly flew into the sky, and then clicked, and the continuous rock flew up, wrapping them in it, and soon the rock buried them, and finally turned into a stone ball. Then the 9 stone balls sat down to the ground, and thick smoke and dust filled the surroundings. Indra looked at the 9 rocks for a while, then turned around and jumped up, onto the high rocks. Look around at what's going on. The battle between Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Madara is also coming to an end, and it is clear that Uchiha Madara has the upper hand. And Uchiha Sasuke and Uzumaki Naruto are on a par. As for Orochimaru, they are a little embarrassed. After all, they are dealing with all the ninja coalition forces gathered on the battlefield. I'm just free now. Let's grab some of Sasuke's friends. After all, they're on my side right now, Indra said in a deep voice, and then the whole person slowly floated up and flew in the direction of Orochimaru. Bang, boom, boom. The sound of weapons colliding continued continuously, and the force of the ninja coalition was far greater than that of D.A. King Lee's Shamaru at the moment. Orochimaru and his party were surrounded by circles, and their expressions were very solemn. At this moment, a white light fell in front of them, and then, Indra appeared beside them. Ghost Sword Shuayu, looks like we've been saved. Shijigo, I think it should be June. Orochimaru, don't see him coming, just relax. 58 The arrival of the Flower Tree World. Extras. The ninja who had originally surrounded Orochimaru and the others saw Indra suddenly appear, and could not help but subconsciously take a few steps back. His face changed dramatically, and beads of sweat appeared. What to do? Said a ninja to them. Indra is like Shinigami, and wherever he appears, there must be only death. The other ninja shook his head, swallowed hard, and the kunai in his hand kept shaking. Advice everyone, put down the weapons in your hands. Where did you come from? Go back there, Indra said with a blank expression. After Indra's voice fell, the surrounding atmosphere obviously began to be suppressed. If they had a choice at this moment, of course they chose where to come from and where to go back. But unfortunately, they have no choice. They can only fight to the death. Even if they run away from 560 now, they will bear the infamy of the ages. You bastard, stop joking, it's you who ran out of the coffin. A ninja wearing a Konoha forehead protector stepped forward, trying to restore the confidence of the ninja coalition. That's right, he's the one who should get away the most. Well said, if it weren't for your group of Uchiha people, this world would not be so smoky. Yes, it's their Uchiha clan's fault. Even if there is a glimmer of hope, I will not give up, even death. It was also because the ninja just said a word, which instantly drove the morale of the entire ninja coalition. Indra's expression remained the same, as before, and said, if this is the case, then you can all die. As soon as the voice fell, the ninja wearing the Konoha forehead protector continued to shout, everyone works together, I believe that he will be defeated. Indra frowned, obviously this time. He was angry. I found out that it's all you bastards of Konoha who are doing things. After Indra finished speaking, he disappeared with a sound, and by the time they reacted, Indra was already in front of them. Moreover, he held the ninja of Konoha and lifted him up, and said coldly, aren't you very good at talking? Go on. Konoha's ninja looked at Indra hideously, constantly using his hands to try to get rid of it. But the more he struggled, the more he realized how small he was. Soon, his face was very red. Sweep sweep. He quickly seals his hands and prepares to use ninjutsu, but Indra doesn't take it seriously at all. In the palm of his other hand, a black stick appeared, and Indra held the stick, slightly backward, and then quickly forward. With a sound of the black, abek, stick went straight through his heart. Before his seal was completed, he was out of breath, and then his hand subconsciously lost consciousness and hung down. Indra casually threw it away and said, useless waste belongs to you all day long. Saying that, Indra glanced at the surrounding ninja army, and the ninja army quickly took a step back. What? One of them didn't know what was going on, so he held the kunai in his hand and shouted, and charged straight towards Indra. Indra kicked it straight into the air. Immediately following, the group of ninja coalition forces behind also rushed towards Indra. Indra gave them a disdainful look, and then shouted, the world of flowers and trees is coming. As soon as Indra's voice fell, the earth began to vibrate. All the ninja coalition forces stopped in an instant, and then said, what happened? Just after they said a word, they were crushed. Under the ground, big trees kept breaking out of the ground, and the branches of the big trees danced in the air like a python. Soon, in the blink of an eye, many flowers grew on the branches. The flowers bloomed immediately, and the pollen fluttered in the wind. Arrival of the flower and tree world. This technique uses one's chakra as a nutrient to make the trees sleeping in the ground grow rapidly and become larger, and can freely manipulate these trees. Large branches rising from the ground can rip through mountains, cut through rocks, and cover the ground. In addition, several flowers will grow on the trees. After the flowers bloom, they can produce poisonous pollen. Once the pollen is inhaled, it will faint due to paralysis. One after another, the ninjas inhaled the pollen, fainted and fell to the ground. Everyone, don't inhale the pollen. One of the ninjas shouted loudly. The ninja coalition quickly covered their mouths and noses with clothes. 59 Konoha is the biggest culprit. Extras now, their difficulty has increased, not only to prevent the inhalation of pollen, but also to prevent a monster like a god. A bunch of naive children. Do you think I made this thing to get these so-called pollen out? Indra shouted loudly, and then leaked a meaningful smile. After all the ninja coalition forces heard the words, they frowned and estimated that a fly could be killed, and they were even more worried at this moment. What the hell is this bastard doing? I don't know, but I think it will definitely be a very pervert move. It's better to be careful. The strength of this enemy is something we have never encountered before. That's right. Just as the last one's voice fell, with a puff, a branch directly penetrated his abdomen, and, above the top of the branch, since his heart was pushed out, as the branches behind him got bigger and bigger, and soon, his whole body followed the branches and hung high in the air. Everyone be careful, a ninja shouted, and then his eyes kept rolling, looking around vigilantly. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, in the ground, countless branches broke out again, and the branches swayed like a serpent, sometimes entwining them, sometimes running through their abdomens. This scene made Orochimaru and the others on the side numb their scalps. Shocking. I think we are lucky to be with Sasuke. Otherwise, I think we will probably end up like them. Guidao Shuixiao's face was slightly deformed. On the other hand, Chongwu glanced at Guy and Shuiyu with disdain, and did not forget to tease. Why, are you afraid? How can Guidao Shuiyu endure others calling him a coward? So he quickly defended. Who said it? I'm just talking about it. Shuiyu actually made a lot of sense. You can be enemies with people all over the world, but you can't be enemies with Indra, because he can beat people in the world alone. Orochimaru said slowly. Yes, Orochimaru is right. Now the situation has basically stabilized. We all have a general understanding of Indra's strength. He can top everyone in the world alone. Guy and Shuiyu praised Indra. Orochimaru had a bright smile on his lips and said, I can't help but look forward to it now. He can bring us a whole era. After this wave of attacks from Indra, not many can escape unharmed, accounting for more than 40%. And these 40% of the people, there is no doubt that the strength is higher than that of the 60% of the people. At this moment, instead, they launched an attack on Indra, and a wave of fire-style ninjutsu attacked Indra. Originally, there was not much firepower. However, due to the combination of dozens of people, the fire was stronger than the original one, only 10 times bigger. Indra looked disdainfully at the group of flames that was approaching him step by step. Then he stretched out a hand, clenched his fist, stretched it back slightly, and then quickly fired. Ah! Sounded. An invisible ability tore the air directly, made a rotten sound, and hit the flame towards them. Boom! The two forces collided, and the flames were scattered directly, and in the center line of the flames, an invisible tunnel was formed, and the invisible impact rushed directly towards them. Zero asked for flowers. The speed was too fast, they hadn't reacted yet. They were directly hit by the invisible force and flew up, and finally fell heavily on the ground. Those who greeted them at the front were already dead, and those who were behind were seriously injured. At this moment, the ninja allied forces were a little overwhelmed. They had no one to command them. They were like a fly without a head, and they could only fly around. Obviously, this will only lead to certain death. It is only a matter of time. ... 0. Thump. A ninja who may have been stressed for too long is now starting to explode. He looked up to the sky and shouted, destroyed. This world is going to be destroyed. Let's fight. Death. We will all die. We will all die. This is a war that has no chance of winning from the beginning. Ha 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 ha. Shouting at the last moment, since he laughed. When other people heard this, they must have also received a great influence, because what the ninja said was not without reason. Everyone else knew it, but they were just trying to hide the fear in their hearts and didn't say it. Basically everyone bowed their heads at this moment, as if they no longer wanted to resist. They just wanted to wait quietly for death. A Konoha ninja stood up and shouted, I can't give up. It's not until the last moment. Who would have thought that at this moment, a fist suddenly greeted him. You still have the face to eat and drink here. Do you know that Konoha village, the land of fire, is the biggest culprit in everything that happened today? 60 Judo statue, extras saying that. The other country's ninja raised his fist and hit the Konoha ninja again, and the Konoha shinobi seemed to know it well and didn't fight back. In fact, what he said is not without reason. The land of fire is indeed the main culprit of this war, and many causes and effects are spread from Konoha village. The best example is Madara, Yokai Huabato. Of course, there are many more. If there were no such people, the 5 countries would at most be the one where you beat me and I beat you, and the world would not be destroyed. Another 563 ninja hurriedly stepped forward and stopped. Okay. Now it doesn't matter who is the culprit in the end. Shouldn't we love to work together? The man stopped beating the ninja at Konoha village, then laughed loudly and said, work together? It's good to work together. You are telling us all to work together to die together. Are you still naive enough to think that we can defeat him? If I tell you if you can get it, it's impossible. We're all going to die. We're all unavoidable. He was very excited, and almost all the words behind him were shouted, and his voice was hoarse. The ninja was speechless for a moment and didn't know what to say. Indeed, now they are just like cattle and sheep, and they are just being slaughtered. All the ninjas bowed their heads at this moment. They didn't want to resist. Even if they resisted, there would be no result. Looking at this situation, Indra chuckled lightly. Why don't you fight? The original emotional ninja came out at this time and said solemnly, we lost. After being silent for a while, Indra said, in this case, as long as you kill the people in the Konoha village next to you, you can go back to where you came from. Of course, I Indra generally speak my mind. When the people of Konoha village heard Indra's words, they frowned and held the kunai in their hands tightly, but they didn't want to resist. What? Suddenly, a kunai directly penetrated the head of a Konoha village ninja, and the atmosphere was instantly suppressed to the extreme. You really kill me. Why don't you kill him? I think Konoha village is the biggest sinner. The man waved the kunai in his hand, and immediately prepared for the next round of attack. Others started to attack one after another. After a few minutes, all the Konoha and all the ninjas here have been killed, and only the scattered ones are still elsewhere. Okay, let's go, Indra said solemnly. After hearing this, the others left without looking back. Tap tap. Orochimaru stepped forward and said solemnly, Lord Indra, is this going to destroy Konoha village? Destroy? I don't have this interest, now, because it's time to clean up the battlefield. Indra slowly floated up, and sure enough, the war in Uchiha Madara's Nibbon was over. Now only Uchiha Sasuke and Uzumaki Naruto are left, and the two of them are now seriously injured, and it is estimated that they will not last long. As for the other side, Haruno Sakura is healing Kakashi. This time seems to be over, but it's really a bit of a loss for Black Zetsu to let the bastard escape. Indra murmured softly. After saying that, Indra flew towards the place where the nine-tailed beasts were sealed, then fell to the ground, meditated silently, and said, summoning. A bang. A huge human figure with 9 eyes, a color and body like dead wood, and a judo statue with 10 column-shaped protrusions appeared behind it. Looking at this judo statue, Indra nodded, then put his hands together again and said, solution. Click. The 9 stone balls suddenly split open, followed by a bang, and the 9-tailed beasts ran out completely. Indra, you bastard. Kurama scolded, frowning. As he spoke, a truth-seeking ball suddenly appeared in his mouth, ready to attack Indra. But just after this meeting, in Judo statue's mouth, an iron chain directly blocked his neck. He directly put him into his mouth. Of course, the other 8-tailed 4.2 beasts were the same, and they were all sucked in by Judo statue. Then the last step left. Indra looked at Judo statue and muttered. Originally, he wanted to seal it in his body again to see what would happen, but after thinking about it later, he decided to give up. Let Uchiha Madara absorb it. After all, Uchiha Madara has served him for more than half his life, and this power is regarded as compensation for him. 61 Uchiha Madara's choice. Indra jumped over the head of Judo statue, then sat cross-legged, waiting silently for Uchiha Madara's fight to end. The current battle situation, if there are no accidents, basically, it has come to an end, and many ninja coalition forces have withdrawn from the battlefield. On the battlefield, most of the scattered and heavy casualties remained. As for Konoha's ninjas, there are basically a few left, and the other party is Hyuga Neji and their troops have not yet arrived here. As for whether there was an accident in the middle, no one knows. Boom. Not far from Judo statue, there was a huge sound of "Oh!" and then the airflow rushed towards Indra. In the deep pit, Uchiha Madara lay on the ground covered in scars. Her eyes were beating, and there was bright red blood under her eyes. Obviously, the pupil power of his eyes has exceeded his burden, and Uchiha Madara squinted one eye and said to the underground Uchiha Madara 1 in a deep voice, you loose. Uchiha Madara 1 frowned. At this moment, he was unable to stand up and shouted, why are you all blocking my way? The world is helpless. It's you who didn't save. My elder brother said that Project Tsukunomi is just a conspiracy of Black Zetsu. Uchiha Madara said solemnly, I created Black Zetsu. My will. Uchiha Madara 1 retorted. You are really helpless. Black Zetsu has lived so much longer than you, even longer than my eldest brother. He designed Project Tsukunomi, just to resurrect his mother, Otsutsuki Kaguya. And you are just a pawn. Uchiha Madara said blankly. Ha. Uchiha Madara grinned. At this moment, for some unknown reason, his smile was hidden in a sadness. Seeing your eyes, I know you have lost a lot. Of course, I have this pair of Rinegons, and I may have lost as much as you. But even so, the way my eyes see is very bright, and what your eyes see is completely distorted. Uchiha Madara said softly. Gwengming, you tell me, What is Gwinkming for? Indra is my light, Uchiha Madara said in a deep voice. Uchiha Madara one was touched for a moment, and then he smiled, and did not speak. Uchiha Madara glanced around with one eye and continued, looking like this battle is coming to an end. The sound of the war is basically inaudible. Yeah, it's over. The moment I lay here, it's over. Uchiha Madara one said. Do it yourself. Uchiha Madara dropped those words, then jumped 563 jumped into the deep pit, and ran towards Indra. It's over? Indra shouted over the judo statue towards Uchiha Madara below. Uchiha Madara nodded and said, yes. Big brother, what to do next? Indra stood up slowly, then jumped from above to the ground, and said gently, have you seen this thing behind me? Do you? Absorb it. This is not good. Big brother. 62 Madara absorbed 10 tails, extras. Indra blinked, then continued, if there is anything bad, I tell you to absorb it, and you absorb it. In Indra's eyes, if not to make up for Uchiha Madara, then he is the best person here to absorb judo statue. You know, although Uchiha Sasuke said that he is on Indra's side now, Uzumaki Naruto, the strongest mouth escape, has not hung up yet. If he is absorbed by Uchiha Sasuke, he will be persuaded by Uzumaki Naruto. Wouldn't that be asking for trouble? Uchiha Madara pondered for a while, then nodded, and said softly, okay. Big brother, I understand. After saying that, Uchiha Madara put his hands together, and then shouted. Suddenly, judo statue trembled and rushed towards Uchiha Madara's direction. After a while, Uchiha Madara absorbed judo statue into his body. Judo statue absorbed 9 tails and became 10 tails. The author is too lazy to change. Immediately, Uchiha Madara became the Jinchuriki of 10 tails, and his body began to change, and his clothes were also changed into a white robe. Behind the white robe, there were 3 rows of hook jade printed, 3 in a row. And his hair has also turned white, and he is holding a 6 paths tin cane. Bang bang, and 9 truth-seeking balls appear out of thin air behind him. Is this the power of 6 paths? Uchiha Madara muttered in a deep voice. Indra looked at him, nodded with satisfaction, and said, how do you feel, Tilda? The whole body is full of power. The chakra just wants to pour out. Uchiha Madara said. This power is something Uchiha Madara has never touched before, and this is the first time he feels that he has such a huge chakra. The battle is almost over, just wait quietly for Uchiha Sasuke, and then it will end. Indra said calmly. Big brother, don't we need to take action? Uchiha Madara asked. Indra chuckled, then shook his head and said, no need. This is a grievance between Uchiha Sasuke and Uzumaki Naruto, let them settle it. Okay. Uchiha Madara nodded. At this moment, Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke were both seriously injured, with large and small scars all over their bodies. Sasuke, why are you still obsessed? Uzumaki Naruto roared at Uchiha Sasuke in a deep voice. Don't talk to me about these useless things. Konoha ruined everything I have, and everything of the Uchiha family. Uchiha Sasuke said disdainfully. If it weren't for Konoha, Uchiha Sasuke's relatives would not have died. If it weren't for Konoha, the Uchiha family would not be left alone. Now Uchiha Sasuke is going to take revenge on Konoha no matter what. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help being touched, and then said in a deep voice, the things in the past are over, can't you look ahead and cherish your current partners? Naruto, I'm not like you, I don't have such a big heart, all the ninjas in Konoha should be damned. Uchiha Sasuke said solemnly, and rushed towards Uzumaki Naruto. Now, he and Uzumaki Naruto's chakra has been used up. In this case, I can only bear all your hatred and perish with you. Uzumaki Naruto also charged forward with his fist clenched. Snapped. Next, they were basically punched in the face by you and me, and the two of them were almost unsteady and swaying. Finally, Uchiha Sasuke took a few steps back, and in the palm of his hand, blue and white lightning appeared. Naruto frowned and said, Kurama isn't ready yet. In Naruto's body, Kurama Kaido, okay. Almost chakra has been condensed. Thank you. Uzumaki Naruto said. Immediately in Uzumaki Naruto's hand, a Rasengan appeared out of nowhere. Reikiri. After Uchiha Sasuke finished speaking, he strode over, waved Reikiri in his hand, and attacked Uzumaki Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto attacked Uchiha Sasuke like a Rasengan. Ding. Li Wang's eyes, they collided, and then only thought, a pop, PFFT. At this moment, the two seemed to freeze, and a mouthful of bright red blood spit out from their mouths. At this moment, Uchiha Sasuke's Reikiri penetrated Naruto's abdomen, and Uzumaki Naruto also penetrated Sasuke's abdominal lines. Uzumaki Naruto looked at Uchiha Sasuke with a smile on his face. It's over. The voice just fell. The two fell towards the back one after another, and with a bang, they fell to the ground. 63 Uchiha's Hokage, extras. The two of them couldn't open their eyes at this moment, closed their eyes and turned to the sky. Indra and Uchiha Madara leapt over and landed next to Uchiha Sasuke. Looking at the scarred Uchiha Sasuke, Indra sighed and said, at this moment, All wars have ended, and Black Zetsu's conspiracy has been completely cut off. It will take 100 years, or 1,000 years. Big brother, then what should we do next? Uchiha Madara raised his head and asked. Indra squatted down slowly, put his hand on Uchiha Sasuke's body, and said, next. Seriously, I'm tired of this. I want to live a little more freely. Big brother, what is the so-called freedom? Uchiha Madara 563 said gently. Eat and drink, wander around, don't care about anything. Indra said slowly. Indra is really tired of the life of fighting and killing, thinking that when he first came to the world of Hokage, in order to survive, he did not wait to be strong. And after he dominated the ninja world, he was sent to this place by the system, and he had to fight again. Now that the battle is over, he thinks so. Let Uchiha Sasuke inherit the Uchiha clan as a side force. And Uchiha Madara, let him go wherever he wants. Then eldest brother, Abek, can I follow you? Following you has made me understand a lot of things. Uchiha Madara said. As you wish. Indra chuckled. Indra put his hand on Uchiha Sasuke's abdomen, and then chanted a spell, and the wounds on Uchiha Sasuke's body healed instantly. Uchiha Sasuke was startled, opened his eyes instantly, and then sat up. He first glanced around, and then said in a deep voice, next. What do we need to do? Indra smiled and said, as you like. This is also your great opportunity to rise up the Uchiha clan. That's your time. Uchiha Sasuke greeted. We don't need you to care. Indra chuckled, then stood up, turned around, and continued, Madara, let's go. Okay, big brother. Uchiha Sasuke created the first Hokage of the Uchiha clan with his own ideals, and Kakashi left with the surviving Konoha shinobi. After a few years, many families began to live in Konoha, rekindling Konoha in its peak state, and its power even far exceeded the original Konoha. Many years have passed again, and the forces of the ninja world are divided into 6 major forces, namely the country of fire, the country of wind, the country of water, the country of thunder, the country of earth, and the Akatsuki of Uchiha Madara 1. The 6 forces occasionally have wars, but the scale is not very large. Noon. By a lake, 2 white long-haired men were lying on the chairs, with their hats covering their faces, and beside them, there were 2 fishing rods, and there was not a single fish in the bucket. Around their chairs, there were 2 big jugs, and the 2 of them would take a few sips from the jugs from time to time, and then put their hats on their faces, not caring at all whether they caught fish. Of course, there are many other people around who are also fishing, but they are all used to it. Since the 2 mysterious men came here last week, they can be seen fishing almost every day. At this moment, an old man walked up to them and said softly, young man, I see that you haven't caught any fish for a few days. If you don't dislike it, the old man will give you a few. 64. Keep fighting. Hearing the voice, Indra slowly took off the hat covering her face, and then glanced at the old man beside her. Then, again, he put the hat over his face. Kaido softly. Keep it for yourself, I don't need it. As soon as the words fell, the atmosphere began to quiet down again. The old man blinked his eyes, and then took the fish back again. Okay, Indra whispered. Uchiha Madara took off the hat covering his face, looked at Indra and said, what's wrong, big brother? Do you still have wine there? Indra asked. No, I'll go buy it for you now. Uchiha Madara said, just about to get up, but Indra said first, I don't need it, I'll ask. Uchiha Madara shouted, then put the hat over her face and went back to sleep. Just then, there were some fluctuations in the water, followed by Indra's fishing rod, and it sank. Young man, pull the hook, you have caught a fish. At this time, the old man shouted beside them. But Indra, as well as Uchiha Madara, did not move at all, lying on the chair, motionless. The old man was very anxious. Indra and the others felt anxious. They hurried over, pulled up the fishing rod, and caught a fish the size of the palm of an adult's hand. The old man looked at Indra and the others suspiciously, and thought to himself, how can there be such fishing? After the old man untied the fish, he hooked the fish again and threw it into the middle of the river. After a long time, the originally blue river water turned pale red at this moment. Soon, the people fishing around had a general idea of what was going to happen, and they packed up and rushed towards the village. The old man patted Indra on the shoulder and said anxiously, young man, leave quickly, this place will soon become a battlefield. Well, I see, Indra said in a deep voice, then pulled down the hat covering her face, stood up, stretched her waist, and said to Uchiha Madara who was beside her, Madara, go, I heard this is going to become a battlefield. Indra ordered. After hearing Indra's words, Uchiha Madara stood up and yawned. I didn't expect that you can't avoid war at any time. It doesn't matter, war or something, just let them go. Anyway, the 9-tailed beasts of this era have been sealed in your body, and the war is not so big. Indra said while packing up. 0, ask for flowers. Also, big brother, where are we going next? Uchiha Madara asked. Find a random place, find a drink, and make plans. After Indra finished packing, she slowly floated up. Then let's go ahead and buy some wine before leaving. Uchiha Madara also floated up and said, okay. Indra nodded, then flew across the river and flew forward familiarly. But unfortunately, after they flew for a while, the sound of fighting sounded in front, and it was getting closer. After a while, they saw that the two sides were fighting, and looking at their clothes, Indra guessed that there was one of them, since it was Akatsuki. On the other hand, the forehead protector wearing the Kingdom of Thunder, the ninja of the Kingdom of Thunder, had a conflict with Akatsuki. Even more coincidentally, behind them, is where Indra often goes to buy wine. 65. Are you tired of living? Well, it seems that luck is a little bit bad. Indra stopped in midair, and did not continue to float. Uchiha Madara laughed involuntarily and said, Brother, you said that we as Shin want to stay away from the conflicts in the world, but we can't escape. No matter where we go, there will be wars. Indra slowly descended to the ground. Uchiha Madara followed. War will happen at any time, and there is no escape from 5, 6 or 7. The law of survival is basically the law of survival in every world. Indra said slowly. That's right. Uchiha Madara nodded. Let's go, follow me. Indra said gently, and immediately in front of him, a white Uzumaki appeared out of thin air, and finally became the size of a person and did not continue to grow. Through this Uzumaki, you can go directly to the wine shop, Indra explained and stepped inside. And Uchiha Madara followed. Entering from here, and following, Indra and the others appeared on the other side, and the boss inside saw the sudden appearance of Indra and Uchiha Madara. Obviously taken aback. Don't kill me, don't kill me, I'm just a wine seller, said the boss in horror. Indra was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, Boss, what are you talking about? I'm just here to buy wine. Yes, we're different from the group of people outside, Uchiha Madara said with a chuckle. The boss stared at Indra and Uchiha Madara with wide-eyed suspicion. If they hadn't come to buy alcohol before, the ghosts would have believed that they had come to buy alcohol. That's it. How much do you need? The boss greeted softly. Indra took out the jug stuck at her waist and said with a smile, Fill this jug for me. Mine is the same, said. Uchiha Madara also quickly handed over his jug. The boss took the jug and started to get busy. Speaking of which, boss, all of you have become a battlefield. Why don't you go to hide at home? Indra asked suspiciously. You guys, why do you think it's so easy? This war came out of nowhere, and we didn't even react, so they came here. The current era is much more chaotic than before. Maybe you have heard of it more or less. A few years ago, the war. At that time, it scared us, but later, I heard that the man named Uchiha Madara was defeated. Although there are no large-scale wars like before, there are many more small wars. Hearing this, Indra looked at Uchiha Madara. One can imagine that Uchiha Madara's face was very ugly. After all, he was defeated. Isn't this nonsense? But seeing that you just came here all of a sudden, you must be ninjas too, the boss continued, so to speak. 4.2 Indra said softly. At this moment, with a bang, two people descended from the sky, penetrated directly through the roof, and fell down, just pressing on the boss. And the jugs of Indra and Uchiha Madara were crushed by the shock. 527 is very scary. Yeah, why didn't you say anything when you bought it? And everything I gave you was true. You lied to me at this time. Could it be that you want to make fun of me? Do you think everyone is a fool? It's already here. What are you joking with me? I can explain the next situation to you. If you don't give me a suitable explanation plan, you will, but don't think about any escape. At this moment, after seeing the arrival of little King Kong, I immediately became excited. The old man knew very well in his heart how he must seize the opportunity at this time. If he can't even control such an opportunity, then the next step, the situation is really troublesome. Moreover, I have to eat well with little King Kong. In some respects, little King Kong is stronger than Fat 583. If I can get to little King Kong's thigh, these situations will be solved much better. This kind of reason and this situation are still relatively well understood, so there is no need to have any ideas for this, and there is no need to encounter any unexpected situations here. Some of the things here are indeed so simple. As long as you understand these things, there is basically no problem here, and you are so confident. Okay. At this time, you are actually standing with King Kong Xiao suddenly stunned. I really can't imagine how simple you are. You are shameless old man. Do you think there is no problem with this matter? I want to tell you not to think about these things too simply. It is really hard for me to solve you. It's easy. I advise you to be a little more accurate about the next things. Some of the things you do are only very clear in your heart, and whether you cheated everyone out of money, only you know very well in your heart. Lie less. I don't even bother to talk about you. You deceive everyone with the real thing first, and then change the package. Do you think everyone is a fool? Do you think everyone doesn't know what's going on here? I've made it clear to you. Abek, don't provoke me. At this time, you can just get the money you defrauded me back. I have no idea with you, and I don't have any intention to pursue you. If you are still blindly ignorant at this time and blindly think that this matter is right, you can rest assured that I will not give you any more chances. I believe you are very familiar with some of the situations here. Speaking of which, the fat man clenched his fists tightly. He really couldn't bear what was going on here. In front of Indra, this guy actually gave him such a heavy blow. It is also very helpless. The appearance of these things is absolutely not allowed by me, and it is very troublesome to think about it. Is it possible that some of the things here are just joking with me? Now that this time has come, I don't need to have any tolerance anymore. If I tolerate too many times, I don't know what this guy will think. At this moment, the atmosphere around them suddenly became intense, and everyone didn't know what to say, so they quietly felt some of the changes. Come to Pirate World. When Indra woke up again and saw herself floating on a small wooden boat, surrounded by the sea of Wang Yang, Indra felt quite speechless. Damn, where am I? When did I get here? Indra said to herself in doubt. She didn't know why she ran to this place, which made Indra really feel quite puzzled. She was clearly in the Hokage world. Why did she run away all of a sudden? We've arrived at this damned place where birds don't poop. Master, hello, you have now come to the world of pirates. At this time, the voice of the system reached Indra's mind. After hearing this voice, Indra was speechless. It was in Hokage World 01 before, and now it is in Pirate World. This TMD is what do you want to do? I rely on the system. What's your purpose in letting me come to the world of pirates? What is my mission? Indra asked a question in confusion. He was really confused. He didn't know what the hell the system wanted to do, or what the system wanted him to do. Master, you are now in the world of pirates, and your mission is to become the king of the sea. If you become the king of the sea, then you can go to other worlds. The voice of the system rang again in Indra's mind. After Indra heard the voice of the system, she really felt quite speechless. Damn, doesn't the system have any other benefits? It just allows me to go to other worlds. Do I want to go to other worlds so much? Indra said angrily, thinking that this system is too tricky. I was pretty good in the Hokage world, but I was brought into the pirate world by this system. This is something Indra can't accept. This incident made Indra's heart really depressed. Master, you can take care of this matter. Anyway, that's all I told you, goodbye. After the system shared this sentence, it ran into Indra's mind and never came out again. This made Indra's heart, not to mention how depressed it was. It was really depressing to encounter such a pitiful system. It's really a tricky system. It actually trapped me in this pirate world, so I'll live in this underwater world, Indra said angrily. At this time, Indra was also quite unhappy in her heart, but she had no choice but to admit that she could do anything else, and there was nothing she could do. However, Indra is still full of confidence in his own strength. Although he floats on the sea alone, he is already the most powerful existence in the Hokage world. The strength in the Hokage world is stronger than that in the pirate world. The strength of a higher level, then he came to this world of pirates, is the most powerful. After Indra came to the pirate world, he didn't have anything to do. He was floating freely on this small wooden boat. He didn't know when he could get to know where he was, which made Indra feel quite puzzled in his heart. I don't know how long it has been floating, and Indra saw a small wooden boat also appearing on the opposite side. A person is sitting on the project boat. This person has a hat on his head, and there is a little bit of Madara on his face. After seeing this person, Indra showed a satisfied smile on her face. To be able to sit alone on a small wooden boat and float on the sea, such a person should be a different person, and his strength should be very strong. When Indra saw this person, she knew that this person should be very strong, not weak people. If they were weak people, how could they have the courage to float on the sea in a small wooden boat? Friend, who are you? What do you want to do? After seeing Indra, the man asked suspiciously. He felt the same way as Indra. He felt that Indra was riding a small wooden boat and floating on the sea. He must be a very powerful person. Otherwise, no one has the courage, and no one has the courage. My name is Indra. What is your name? Indra looked at this person and asked suspiciously, not knowing what the other person's name was. My name is Ace. Everyone calls me Fire Fist Ace. You can call me Ace. Ace said something politely to Indra. After hearing Ace's words, Indra's eyes lit up. I didn't expect that the boy in front of him was actually Ace, the brother of the protagonist Luffy. Guy. Oh, too proud Ace. Ha 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 ha. So you are Ace. I don't know where you are going. Indra looked at Ace and asked suspiciously, where is Ace going? I'm going to find someone who did something bad on my team, and I'm going to get him back and bring him to justice. Ace said very seriously, listening to his words. He was like a marine, but everyone knew that he was a pirate, and could not be a marine. After hearing what Ace said, Indra probably understood what Ace was going to do, and she should go to catch Blackbeard teach, but Blackbeard is quite a powerful existence, and it is simply not something that Ace can compete with. When Blackbeard did not have the strength of Dark Fruit, it was estimated that he could compete with Ace. Now that Blackbeard has obtained the strength of Dark Fruit, then Ace cannot be Blackbeard's opponent. In the plot of One Piece, Ace is not Blackbeard's opponent. He was finally captured by Blackbeard, and also triggered the Summit War, which caused a series of tragedies. Unfortunately, Whitebeard died like this. Since Indra has encountered this incident, she must find a way to prevent this incident, and cannot let this tragedy happen. If this tragedy happened, it would be too sad. Ace, are you looking for a pirate named Blackbeard? Indra looked at Ace and said lightly. After Ace heard Indra's words, his brows furrowed slightly, and he realized that the guy in front of him was not an ordinary person. What purpose should he have when he said this to him? Do you know Blackbeard teach? Ace looked at Indra and asked seriously. He didn't know if Indra and Blackbeard were enemies or friends. If Indra and Blackbeard were enemies, then Ace could accept it. If Indra and Blackbeard were friends, Ace would not accept. He will kill Blackbeard too. I don't know Blackbeard teach, but I know that you are going to find Blackbeard. I want to remind you that Blackbeard's strength is not what it used to be. You are not his opponent. He now has a very powerful the strength of the Logia Devil Fruit. If you want to defeat him, it's a very difficult thing. Indra looked at Ace and said lightly, wanting to make Ace retreat in spite of the difficulties. If Ace retreats in spite of the difficulties, then all the troubles in the future can be solved. Ha 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 ha. If you want to persuade me, then you should die. I will not listen to anyone's persuasion. I am full of confidence in my strength. In my world, only my daddy Whitebeard can beat me. Even my eldest brother, Magua, is no match for me. Ace said confidently. The Phoenix Marco is a very powerful existence. He can defeat Ace, but Ace doesn't take Marco in his eyes. He feels that in this world, only Whitebeard can beat him. No one else can beat him. After hearing Ace's words, Indra also felt quite speechless. She felt that Ace was too arrogant. She kindly reminded him that he actually said such words, which made Indra's heart also felt quite speechless. Why don't we do it like this? Let's talk about it. Let me see, what means do you have? If you are very strong, you can go to Blackbeard. If you can't even beat me, then I will advise you, don't go looking for Blackbeard. If you find Blackbeard, you're just throwing yourself into the net, and you'll be implicated in other people. Indra said something bitterly to Ace. He really wanted to tell the story of Summit War, but he knew that Ace wouldn't believe what he said, so he didn't plan to tell the story, because no one believes it even if it is said. Ha 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 ha, it's really a big tone. I want to see it. What are you capable of? If you can stop me, I will also. Li Wangzhou admires you for being a man, Ace said confidently. He is full of confidence in his own strength. He believes that his strength will not lose to Indra. If he fights with Indra, he will definitely be able to win Indra. Seeing Ace so confident, Indra was quite speechless, and she was still criticizing Ace in her heart. Haven't you heard that there are people outside the world and there are heavens? A mountain is still a mountain high, and he is so confident, which makes Indra feel quite in his heart. Speechless, Indra is full of confidence in her own strength and believes that if she is to deal with Ace, it will be easy and there will be no pressure at all. Oh, 3 let the horse come over. Ha 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 ha. Since that's the case, let me go. Let me see what kind of strength you have, Indra said confidently. He is full of confidence in his own strength. He absolutely believes in his own strength. No one can be his opponent. Come to this pirate world. He is the sky, he is the earth. It is absolutely impossible for someone to be stronger than their own strength. After Ace heard Indra's words, he became angry all of a sudden. He is also a proud person and will never let anyone humiliate him. He feels that Indra's words are humiliating himself and looking down on himself. This made Ace really unhappy in his heart. Friend, since you said something like this, don't blame me for being rude. You should make 567 moves first. You are not my enemy. Ace said confidently. He is also a sturdy and upright man. He will not attack others. If he is attacking others, he will not be able to do it. Ha 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 ha. I didn't expect you to be quite confident. It's all right. You go first. I'll let you. If you lose, you will say that I will take the first shot. Indra said lightly, and did not take Ace in the slightest. Although Ace is quite powerful, in this pirate world, he is quite a powerful existence, but in Indra's eyes, he is just a child, not his opponent at all. I really didn't expect that you are still a guy with backbone. Since you're so backbone, don't blame me for being rude. I'll take action first, Ace said lightly, and then he gave birth to his 2 fingers. From his 2 fingers, a lot of sparks flew out, just like a machine gun. After looking at it, it made people feel quite headache. If it was someone else, facing Ace's machine gun, it would definitely be quite a headache, but Indra is not an ordinary person. He is a powerful person, even in the face of Ace's machine gun. He is not afraid at all. Ha 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 ha. Yes, very good, but your machine gun is not harmful to me, Indra said with a smile, and then a vortex appeared in front of him. These sparks entered this Uzumaki, and then disappeared. After Ace saw this scene, the whole person was dumbfounded. He really did not expect that Indra's strength was so powerful that he could actually make his own flame disappear, which made Ace's heart really unbelievable. The next moment, behind Ace, a Uzumaki suddenly appeared, and then a lot of flames ran out of that Uzumaki. These flames were the flames that Ace fired before, The target is Indra, but now the flame target is Ace. Although Ace didn't see the flames, he sensed that there was a problem behind him and hurriedly avoided it. When he saw the flames, his expression also became solemn, because he found that his Indra's strength was really strong, too powerful, beyond his expectations. What kind of ability do you have? Ace looked at Indra and asked suspiciously. In the whole pirate world, Devil Fruit relies on Devil Fruit. If you have the ability of Devil Fruit, you can become incomparably powerful. Ace thinks that Indra must have it. Devil Fruit, and this Devil Fruit is quite weird. able to absorb other people's attacks. Ha 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 ha, you don't care what my abilities are. You first take a look to see if you are my opponent. If you can beat me, it's not too late for you to say so much. If you can't beat me, I'm sorry, just come with me. Indra looked at Ace and said with a smile, his purpose is to stop Ace and let Ace not take risks, because Indra knows that Ace is not the opponent of Blackbeard Teach at all. If he wants to seek revenge for Blackbeard, it is simply self-inflicted. Blackbeard Teach, just looking for a powerful and distinguished person to become his stepping stone. If Ace goes, he will be this person. After Ace heard Indra's words, she was also quite angry. She felt that Indra was too arrogant, and she actually said it. Such arrogance is simply not taking herself seriously. This is what Ace can't do. An accepted thing. However, Ace was also quite afraid in his heart, because he found that Indra was too powerful, and he couldn't handle it at all. If he wanted to defeat Indra in a short period of time, it was impossible. Oh, for no grudges in the past, no grudges in recent days, friend. We have no injustice in the past, and no enmity recently. I can't defeat you in a short period of time, and you can't defeat me in a short period of time. Let's just forget about it. What do you think? Ace said to Indra. To be honest, he really doesn't want to continue fighting. He is still on his way. If he continues to fight, it will not do him any good. Ha 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 ha. If you don't want to fight with me, it's impossible. If I want to fight with you, don't grind it here. Just let the horses come over. Indra looked at Ace and said lightly, he didn't have to fight. He was helping Ace, because he knew that if Ace left here, he would go to Blackbeard, and if he found Blackbeard, the doom is coming. Friend, I just said, I can't beat you in a short time. You can't beat me in a short time. Why should we continue to fight? It's meaningless. It's useless. Ace looked at Indra and said lightly. He didn't know what Indra wanted to do, and felt that Indra was really too difficult to deal with. This made Ace really feel quite speechless. Ha 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 ha. Who said I can't beat you in a short time? You must be too confident. Indra looked at Ace and sneered. He was full of confidence in his own strength. He knew that he could defeat Ace in a short period of time, and there was no problem at all. My friend, if you are so confident, then you can let it go. I also want to see how powerful you are and whether you can beat me, Ace said lightly, with a very confident expression on his face. He was full of confidence in his own strength. Although he could not defeat Indra in a short period of time, Indra wanted to defeat himself in a short period of time. This is an impossible thing. Ace absolutely does not believe that this thing can happen. Ha 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 ha. Since you don't believe it, then I'll show you what real strength is. Indra sneered, then walked towards Ace. Ace saw Indra walking towards him, his brows slightly wrinkled. He was also a little worried because he saw that Indra was too confident. Well, this made him really worry. Indra walked to Ace step by step. He used Suzu. The whole body entered into an illusory body. This body was like a giant. After seeing this scene, Ace frowned slightly, because he felt scared in his heart, and found that he seemed to be quite powerful as a giant, not so easy to deal with, which made Ace really feel quite concerns. What are your abilities? Why do you have two different abilities? Ace looked at Indra and asked a question in doubt. He really felt quite puzzled in his heart. He didn't know what was going on, and why Indra showed two abilities. This made Ace really puzzled. I don't understand. Ha 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 ha. This world is huge. Your vision is too small. Let's see what a real powerhouse is. 0. Ask for flowers. Indra said something confidently, and then using Suzu's giant, gave birth to his hand and patted it in the direction of Ace. Ace saw Suzu's huge palm, and he felt quite frightened in his heart, and hurriedly jumped into the air. Ace is a very powerful pirate. When his body is elementalized, he can float in the sky like a flame. When Ace saw Indra's palm land on his little wooden boat, his little wooden boat suddenly shattered. After seeing this scene, Ace's heart is really not calm. As much as he is not calm, this is his own little wooden boat. It was smashed by Indra like this. It is difficult for Ace to accept one thing. Ace is a devil fruit capable person. What he is most afraid of is the sea water. If he enters the sea water, he will be sore and weak, and then he will not have any fighting power. Ace is relying on this small wooden boat to float on the entire sea. If there is no small wooden boat, then he will not be able to stand on the sea at all. Now being an Indra is going too far, breaking his little wooden boat. This Ace Jean's heart is really full of grief and anger, and he feels that this Indra is really too much. If I don't have a small wooden boat, what should I do? I can't touch the sea water at all. If I touch the sea water, then it's over. 1005 No place to stand. Ace's psychology at this time was extremely angry, because he felt that Indra was going too far and broke his little wooden boat, which made Ace have no place to stand. If there is no place to stand, then he is in trouble. Once he touches the sea, he will surely die. However, what makes Ace puzzled is that Indra's body is on the sea water, and looking at him like this. He is not afraid of sea water, which makes Ace feel quite puzzled. Ace thinks that Indra must be a capable person. If it is a capable person, how can it be possible that 5 or 7 are not afraid of water? Any demon fruit power will be afraid of seawater. Now that Indra is not afraid of seawater, let Ace really, it's unbelievable. Who are you? What are you capable of? Why aren't you afraid of the sea? Ace looked at Indra and asked a question in doubt. His heart was really puzzled and painful. I wonder why Indra is not afraid of seawater? This is really unpredictable for Ace. Ha 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 ha. I have already told you that this world is very big, and many of you don't understand it. Don't make random guesses here. You are not my opponent at all. Be my little brother and follow me. Indra looked at Ace and said confidently. He is full of confidence in his own strength. He knows that Ace must not be his opponent. Ace can only live if he follows him. If he does not follow him, he would be beaten to death by Marine. Ha 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 ha. Your strength is very strong. I admit, I may not be your target, but I already have my captain. My captain is Whitebeard. He is my idol. I will never again. I have taken refuge with other people. If I have taken refuge with other people, where will my face go? Ace swears that he is a man of backbone. He will not take refuge in others casually. If it is to take refuge in others casually, then it will be too embarrassing. If others laugh, they will also be pointed at the back and scolded by others. Ha 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 ha. He is indeed a person with backbone. I really admire it in my heart. Since you don't want to follow me, then you can follow me. Follow me for a while, and wait until I am satisfied. Now you can leave my side. What do you think? Indra looked at Ace and said confidently. He is full of confidence in his own strength. As long as Ace is by his side, then he will not have any accident. In fact, there is no need for Indra to help Ace at all. But when Indra was watching Pirates, he liked Ace very much, and he was reluctant to let Ace die like this. If Ace died like this, Indra's heart will be difficult. When Ace heard Indra's words, his brows could not help frowning. He didn't know what Indra wanted to do. He only knew that Indra must have his purpose. As for what purpose, it was unclear. We've said before, I will listen to you only if you beat me, and if you don't beat me, I won't listen to you. And now I'm still standing here. You haven't beat me. Zero. Ace said to Indra. He is a man of backbone. He will not be afraid because others are strong. As long as others can beat him, he will admire others. If others can't beat him, he will admire others. Hee. Well, since you're so stubborn, don't blame me for being rude, and let me defeat you. Indra said lightly. He is full of confidence in his own strength. If you want to defeat Ace, there is not too much pressure. It is still very easy. Wang Lin waved his hand gently, and then a stream of sea water appeared in the sea, making a stream of sea water, like a giant dragon, flying towards Ace, and also unfolded a giant dragon. The dragon's mouth, like to pass Ace into the stomach. After Ace saw this scene, the whole person was taken aback. This is sea water. I really didn't expect Indra to be able to control the sea water. Ace, he has minus 4.2 demon fruit power. If he is swallowed by this sea water, then he will be weak and no longer have any fighting power. When Ace saw this sea water, he was really frightened to the extreme. He didn't hesitate, and immediately tried to avoid it. He didn't want to follow the sea water to fight hard. If he did, he wouldn't be able to eat good fruit. At this moment, Ace's mind is quite painful. He never imagined that Indra could actually control the sea water, which is something he never imagined. 5 Sea Dragon. Ace saw the sea water rushing towards him, and his heart was also extremely frightened, so he hurried to dodge sideways. He didn't want to come to the real world with the sea water. If it came into contact with the sea water, it would really be the consequence. Incredible. The dragon formed by sea water is not so flexible. Ace easily avoided it. This Ace also felt quite relieved. Thanks to this dragon formed by sea water, he did not have strong flexibility. If you have strong flexibility, then you will probably explain it here today. Ace was originally in his heart, but the next moment, his pupils shrank, because he saw a very frightening scene, that is, the giant dragon formed by the sea actually fell down and rushed towards him again. After seeing this scene, Ace was really stunned that this giant dragon would turn back, which really made Ace's heart feel quite painful. Being a giant dragon is like having real life, and looking at him like this, he also has a little wisdom. This is something that Ace can't accept. If this giant dragon, he would be something else, it's okay to say. For example, he is sand. For example, he is magma. For example, he is flame, all of which are acceptable to Ace. But this giant dragon, he is seawater. This is something that Ace can't accept. In the pirate world, those who eat devil fruit are most afraid of seawater. Now there is actually one person who can control it. The seawater makes the seawater take the form of a dragon. If this is spread out, what a terrifying thing it is. At this time, Ace's heart was really hairy, not to mention how scared he was. How scared he really was, really scared to the extreme. Ace has only one thought now, that is, it is absolutely impossible to touch this giant dragon that the seawater has turned into. If this giant dragon is touched, the consequences will be unimaginable. Not to mention how anxious Ace was in his heart. He kept avoiding this giant dragon for fear of being bitten by this giant dragon. Indra saw that Ace's movement was very flexible, and she was constantly dodging, and she also showed a helpless expression. She felt that this Ace was like the end of a strong arrow. Why do you keep dodging? Indra felt that one giant dragon was not enough, and he had to add another one, or even many more. If there were many giant dragons attacking Ace together, then Ace would definitely be finished. After thinking of this, Indra did not hesitate, and changed into several giant dragons. These giant dragons were all formed by seawater, and each of them was as thick as a water tank. It was really terrifying. Ace saw so many giant dragons formed by seawater, not to mention how scared he was in his heart. He really didn't expect Indra to be so powerful that he could change so many giant dragons formed by seawater. It made Ace feel quite surprised. At this moment, Ace was really scared to the extreme. He felt that Indra was too powerful. Even if his father, Whitebeard, came here, he could not be Indra's opponent. Whitebeard is already a man standing at the top of the world. In this world, no one can beat Whitebeard. However, Ace gave the evaluation of Indra, thinking that Indra is more powerful than Whitebeard, which made Ace in his heart. It's really quite tangled, and this is also a very high evaluation of Indra. Ha 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 ha. Ace, what do you think of my little bugs? Can I beat you? Indra looked at Ace and said with a smile. He didn't take these giant dragons in his eyes at all. In Indra's eyes, these giant dragons were like little bugs. After Ace heard Indra's words, the whole person also became uneasy. I really didn't expect that Indra is actually so strong with 570 people, and it is really too embarrassing to ignore these giant dragons. Incredible. These giant dragons are quite powerful. Ace feels that he has already stood at the top of the world. There are not many characters stronger than himself, but when dealing with a giant dragon, Ace feels quite it's hard work. It's really not easy to deal with. However, Indra said that these giant dragons were huge bugs, which made Ace feel quite speechless and shocked. Judging from Indra's attitude towards these giant dragons, Indra did not regard these giant dragons at all. Dragon in his eyes. If this is the case, then it can prove one thing: these giant dragons are not the most powerful cards of Indra at all. It is very likely that they are just some small tricks of Indra. If this is the case, it is too much. Horrible. Indra is just too powerful. Oh 6 Follow me for a while. After thinking of this, Ace was really scared. He really didn't know how powerful Indra was. Now Indra's strength is so powerful. It's so powerful that it's lawless, which makes Ace. I also felt quite frightened in my heart. Ha 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 ha. Ace, you know my strength now. Follow me for a while. I will save your life, otherwise you will be killed in the future. Indra looked at Ace so embarrassed and said something to him with a smile. After Ace heard Indra's words, his brows could not help frowning. He didn't know why Indra said such a thing, and who could kill him. What? Who dares to kill himself? This is the equivalent of getting something in Ace's heart. Ace is the captain of the 2nd division of the Whitebeard pirates. In this sea, who can't give Whitebeard a face? In this world, no one dares to provoke Whitebeard. If he provokes Whitebeard, then he will after a strong counterattack from Whitebeard. Even naval headquarters could not accept the price. When Ace heard what Indra said, at the beginning, he didn't take it seriously. He didn't believe what Indra said. He thought that Indra was just an alarmist. However, just when he was distracted, a giant dragon came beside him. He opened his bloody mouth and swallowed Ace into his stomach. Ace is a demon fruit power. When he touched the seawater, he was paralyzed all of a sudden, and suddenly lost his strength, which made Ace's heart really feel a lot of pain. Why did he want to? What about distraction? At the moment when he was distracted, he was killed by Indra, which made Ace really painful. Entering the sea, Ace can't move. Although Ace's strength is quite strong, in the sea, if he wants to exert his combat power, it is impossible. Even if he even flips over, it's really a pain in the ass if you can't do it alone. Ha 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 ha. Ace, how do you feel? Although your strength is very powerful, you can be regarded as a top existence in this world, but you are just like a child in my palm. You follow me for a while. Following me is helpful to you. If you don't follow me, you will regret it in the future. Indra looked at Ace and said a word lightly. After Ace heard Indra's words, he also thought about it, because he found that Indra was quite powerful, and Indra did not want to kill him. If Indra had any thoughts of hurting him, then he would have died long ago, and it is impossible to have to live. If he can continue to live, even if Indra spared him and did not hurt his heart, let Ace's heart be the same. Feeling rather puzzled, wondering what Indra is trying to do. When it came to Ace at this time, he originally wanted to speak, but when he entered the sea, he couldn't speak. He wanted to say a word, but it was so difficult that he couldn't even open his mouth. It's really too difficult. When Indra saw Ace like this, she was quite puzzled. She didn't know what Ace was doing. She talked to him for a long time, but he didn't reply. Isn't it too impolite? But looking at Ace like this, it looks like he wants to talk, but he can't say it, which makes Indra feel quite puzzled. He doesn't know what the hell is this Ace doing? Really puzzled. Indra lifted Ace out of the seawater and wanted to see what this Ace was doing. It's really stressful. What's wrong with you? Indra looked at Ace and asked a question in confusion. I don't know what happened to Ace. I was really curious. I felt that Ace looked really high. Lizos, and I really don't know what happened to him. My friend, I was in the sea just now, and I couldn't move all over my body. Fortunately, you brought me out. Otherwise, it would not be long before I would have drowned. Ace said helplessly, and felt quite helpless in his heart. He was a top powerhouse anyway, but he didn't expect to fall to this level. This piece of Ace's heart really felt quite speechless. After hearing Ace's words, Indra remembered that Ace is a devil fruit capable person. What he is most afraid of is the sea water. Once he enters the sea water, he will be completely powerless.